yule. Jambo la kwanza tunalohimiza kwenye wale wadau na pia wenye kuweka sera ni kusema kwamba katika EAC tuko kwenye soko moja, na tukisema soko moja la EAC inamaanisha basi mkulima Tanzania haoni tu soko la Tanzania, anaona soko lote la Kenya, la Uganda, lote lile. Hivyo pia mkulima Kenya, mkulima Uganda. Kwa hivyo tunawahimiza wakulima wetu wajue kwamba ushindani walionao, competition iliyopo sio tu kwa yule jirani, mkulima jirani yako pale pengine Uasin Gishu ama kwingineko, lakini mkulima wa Kenya anashindana na mkulima aliye Tanzania, aliye Uganda, aliye nchi zote za Afrika Mashariki, kwa vile tuko na soko moja. Kwa hivyo tunahimiza wakulima waweze kuanza kufanya kazi ya ukulima wakitumia mbinu ambazo ni za kisasa, mbinu ambazo zinapunguza gharama ya uzalishaji. Kwa vile tukipunguza gharama ya uzalishaji ndio tutakuwa tuko na ule competitiveness nzuri, ushindani mzuri, na tutaweza kuuza katika soko lote la East Africa. Kwa hivyo
key elements, regulations which we have to harmonize as a region but later on as a continent. Issue of standards which have to be harmonized and agreed upon as a REC in East Africa, but also as a continent. And again, these measures which is around safety, because when you trade, the issue of food safety or feed safety is a very important key. So we have begun harmonization. We have already regulations, measures, and we think this three elements together will actually help for East Africans to be competitive in this whole big market. But of course we understand that the issue of logistics, the issue of infrastructure is still challenging, but we are working on it. As at the East African community, we have already what we call infrastructure master plan to facilitate free movement of goods, of course also to facilitate free movement of other services and persons. So issue of infrastructure is key, but we are working also on it. But most importantly, in this area of trade and addressing the continental challenges, agreeing on common regulations, adopting common standards, harmonizing our measures will be actually a very strong asset when it comes to our competition in this big market. It's an opportunity which we call all East Africans to understand. All people trading grains, being maize, beans, rice, and others, to actually target this market, being young people, old people, men, women. It's important we are all aware that this African continental free trade area is an opportunity for us to extend and increase our businesses, and it is important to think in an open way to ensure we are benefiting enough from this market, even if there are challenges, but together we are sure you can address also those challenges.
Here to engage in dialogue with African governments, particularly Eastern African governments, Eastern Africa private sector, and Eastern Africa stakeholders, so that we can see how to advance the agenda for food security, nutrition security, but also growth in the grain sector. As you've possibly seen from the discussion since morning, the issues around productivity, declining productivity in the context of climate change. Tunaona climate change imekuwa constraint kubwa sana kwa upande ya kuzalisha chakula. Manake hewa imebadilika, mvua haikuji ile wakati kawaida inakuja, ikikuja inakuwa kidogo. Kwa hivyo wakulima hawawezi kujipanga vizuri ili wapate hiyo malisho, hiyo produce ambayo walikuwa wanapata mbeleni. Kwa hivyo wanatakana wajipange tofauti sasa, kwa sababu kila kitu huwa inabadilika. The climate is changing, the weather is changing, they need to be better prepared. So discussion hapa inaangaza yale ambao wakulima wanatakana wafanye ili waweze kuzalisha bado in the context of changing climate.
Of course we have challenges of market linkages, challenges of production. Cost of production, particularly in Kenya, is a bit on the high side compared to some of our neighbors. And also, of course, challenges in bulking the grain and keeping it safe. Storage, post-harvest losses, which are very high. At the moment, it's 25 to 35%. And if we could reduce that, then we could actually increase our production, or rather our grain harvest. So here, the discussions which will go on here is to do with trade. How do we interact with the other countries in terms of ensuring that we trade with our grain and the farmers or the millers get the right prices. And also issues to do with other linkages that affect the grain industry, which is quite substantial. And of course, we already have in East Africa a trade area, East African Community. Now we have the Africa Free Trade Area, which is coming up. Already 54 countries have signed the agreement, and that is really going to boost intra-Africa trade all over Africa, because it will deal with issues to do with tariff and non-tariff barriers, and also the other barriers that affect the issues of trade.
To see what is